Hiya crafters, Amy here with amyswares, and today I'm going to make a batch of cards for Valentine's Day for Meals on Wheels. So I have a bunch of card bases here. I have a bunch of embossing folders and a die. This is the giant XOXO from Lawn Fun. I have a bunch of Altenew 6x6 3D embossing folders. I will link everything that I used in the video description box below. If you expand and scroll down, you'll see in a bit I'm going to actually add on some other folders as I go. I have some paper scraps here. This was a really fun way to use up some pattern paper and colored cardstock scraps. I store them in color-coded folders, and I have these sentiment strips from from Tailored Expressions, but I didn't actually end up using them. Here's a photo of the finished cards. I was able to make 10 cards pretty quickly. I'm just going to show you how I batch. So I pulled out a bunch of pieces of paper scraps and I ran this through my die cutting machine a bunch of times. I'm also adding a couple, actually 3 different more geometric sort of embossing folders because as you can see with that cardstock, I have one that's a bit of a wood grain. I wanted to create a little bit more of a masculine design on a few of them just because these are going to get donated to Meals on Wheels, and if there's any, male recipients, I just thought having some that are a little less florally and a little more, gender neutral or would work better for a male would just be better to kind of have in the mix. So I have some panels here. These are all 4¼ inches by 5½. It's 120-pound accent opaque, and that's also the same as what my card bases are. And then I added this this square one, rows of squares or something like that, as well as a third option. Now I will tell you this is one of my absolute favorite embossing folders, but this will shrink your cardstock because it is so dramatic with the way that it raises the image. So just bear that in mind that it will shrink it down. You'll probably need to trim it down and it'll have a little bit of a border. So just bear that in mind. But I ran all these through my Spellbinders Platinum 6. I'm just kind of separating the ones that are for the more masculine design. And then I have the floral ones off in another pile. So there's the 3 that I'm going to combine with the wood grain XO. And then I'm basically going to just attach all this stuff together. I'm going to attach the panels to the card bases, but I'm going to stamp on the back as well, my little amyswares stamp. Just on the back of all those. So I'm kind of just doing everything in steps. This is a way to save time if you're mass producing. So do all your stamping in one shot, do all your embossing in one shot. This is what I decided to do instead of the sentiment strips, just because it was more more appropriate for the inside, because I don't think these are going to get written inside, and I wanted to make sure it was something that was kind of substantial on the inside of the card. And then with the way that I spaced them out, I was able to do the love in a coordinating color to match the front of the card, and then just do the little sentiments in black. And I have VersaFine Claire Nocturne. So you can see it kind of fills up the inside of the card, so it looks good if it doesn't get written in. And it says, "Sending you love. Happy Valentine's Day." So I'm just going to use some tape runner and attach these embossed panels directly to the card base, and then I'm going to liquid glue the sentiment down, and then I'm going to place an acrylic block on top of it just because there's so much texture from the embossing. I want to make sure that it really kind of grabs onto that sentiment. So I'm just going to use my little tweezers here and some Barely Arts liquid glue. I can't remember if I pounced these off on a little piece of scratch paper. That's a way I kind of combat the oozage because I don't like the oozage. Oh, it looks like I didn't here, but I'm just basically going to set that down, give it a second to cure, and then do all those in a batch. Now I'm going to pull some blingage out. This is all card bling from a Colorful Life Designs. I do have a coupon, AmyFan10. If you shop for anything in the store other than the Master Creator Bundle, you can save 10% on your complete order. So be sure to use my coupon at checkout. Again, I'll link everything in the video description box below. If you expand and scroll down, if you follow my links, that's no additional cost to you, but it really does help me out. I didn't actually end up using that cranberry one. It didn't end up matching the wood grain pattern paper. It actually ended up looking a little bit too pink. So I didn't use that crystal iris cranberry. I ended up just using a lot of the luminous white, as you can see here, because it matched really well. Just kind of added a little visual interest without taking away from the design. Still very simple, clean and simple, lots of white textured space. So if you're in the market or want to batch a bunch of cards, these don't have to be Valentine's Day. You could make them no sentiment cards and make a nice little card batch, or you could make them birthday or thank you or a mix and put them together for a nice little batch for a gift, like maybe a housewarming gift or something like that. So if you need to make a bunch of cards, think of what you have in your crafty stash. If you have embossing folders, if you have a simple die cut, use up those pattern paper scraps or colored cardstock scraps. It's a great way to use it up. So thank you so much for spending time with me. If you enjoyed this, please hit the thumbs up, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.